Welcome to Not Your Average Neighbor, the podcast celebrating inspiring individuals and the amazing work they do in our community. I'm Roushar, your host, inviting you to join me as we shine a light on stories of resilience, connection, and good news. Let's build a neighborhood that uplifts and inspires, one story at a time. Hey neighbors, it's Roushar, hostess with the mostest of Not Your Average Neighbor. Again, I am not your average realtor either. Wink, wink, right here in Cedar Rapids. And the reason I bring that up is because my guest today is a huge, super supporter of my business. And I am lucky to know her and love her and call her a friend. But before we get into our guest, I wanted to shout out someone. This will be airing a couple weeks from now, but I did some professional videos with a media genius, let's just say, because if he makes my work look amazing from yesterday, it will be a feat of genius. His name is Brandon Qualls, and he is the owner, operator, founder of Midwest Media. And if you have a brand that you would like some love and attention and, specific to your business, he does real estate, but I'm sure he would be happy and open to any branding media opportunities. So please follow him. Midwest Media is the name of his company. Brandon Qualls is his name. And he's so patient with my brain. And yeah, it was just a great time. But man, being a media star is a lot of work. I am not going to lie. But yay. Yay, Brandon. Thank you for all you do. And if you want a connection to Brandon, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. So, without further ado, I am going to introduce you to my neighbor, my friend, Stefanie Munsterman.
Hello.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have behind the scenes, it has been a little bit of a juggling act between both of our schedules. And so I'm just so happy to be here with you
I
right
am
now in this moment. I'm just so glad that we got it
We
together.
got it connected.
Yes, exactly. And again, I had the pleasure of helping not only your parents sell their
Mhm.
longtime home, but your daughter with her home in Manchester. And
Yes.
yep, my son's coming home right now. I just appreciate your support and just believing in me. And I'm just so honored that I got to help them as well because they're all lovely, lovely people. So thank you.
Well, thank you for everything you did for my family. You go above and
Absolutely.
beyond.
Oh, well, thanks. I do what I can. And if I can do it, there's a will, I can do it. I like to talk kind of about how we are introduced, how we started this friendship journey. And it started quite a few years ago.
Mhm.
And I believe I started seeing you. You were the executive director of our local civil rights commission here in Cedar Rapids.
Yes.
And it was 2020. So I was the chaos coordinator for Professional Women's Network. And we were trying to go online with classes because that's just the way life was taking us. And you spent some time with us and gave us some really important knowledge and information about, you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Although it's no longer, thing in many places, it
Ah,
is in
I
our
know.
hearts.
It's always here, no matter where you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you have a heartbeat, you deserve, all the rights.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but since then, you have kind of pivoted to a new job and a new
Yes.
business. So, what are you doing in your 9 to 5 Monday through Friday work life right now?
Well, it's golly, it's a combination of a few things because, I'm like you, Anne, you can't do
Yeah.
just one thing. So I work at NewBoCo as their director of development. NewBoCo, we do STEM education as well as entrepreneurship support. And so that's, my 9 to 5 job. I also teach out of Mount Mercy as an adjunct in their MBA programs. I've done that for several years. I've lost track of all.
Yeah.
And then just most recently this year, I have opened, whatever the right word is, a new organization called the Spark Movement. That just kind of came from listening to women in my arena and just doing some customer discovery conversations and hearing how overwhelmed and burned out and stretched and just hurting women are. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to do something to help support our amazing woman.
Well, I am so excited to learn more about the Spark movement. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about your trip to NYC this spring and what you
Yes.
were doing there. That's quite impressive.
Oh, thank you. It was amazing. It's through the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. And so it was, as you can imagine, all the countries across the world, and there were delegates who were elected to go. And I was a whole application process, and I was honored to be selected to be there to be one of the delegates, and just listening to the different countries, listening to um, how rights are being um, like they're talking about on the books, but they're not necessarily enacted in real life. And I just hear that across the board. I'm hearing women's rights are being pulled back. It was a fascinating experience. I got to meet some amazing people from across the world, from Belize to Congo to Nicaragua. There were some folks who couldn't come because of some visa snafus with the government, but all in all, it was amazing. It was um, being around a lot of very strong advocate women who are doing the work. They're not just, talking the talk. They are in the field. They're supporting other women. They're supporting other families. So there's a lot of talk about policies, but then we have these policies. How do we enact them? And how do we have the resources to enact them? And so that was quite a bit of it was a 2 week time that I was there. And so I have
2
so many,
weeks. Wow,
yeah.
I bet you were like your mind was just full to the rim with
Oh my gosh, it was. I have so many notes and I'm still going through them. And that was, a couple months ago. But it was just so good. And I'm still involved through United Nations Women and United Nations Human Rights Commission, as well as our local United Nations organization. So, I don't work at the Civil Rights Commission anymore, but I still keep my feet in very strongly in that world.
we have a local United Nations chapter. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, I
Yeah,
had no idea.
Yeah, there's 2 local ones. There's like a Johnson County United Nations, there's Lynn County United Nations, and then there's also just the state of Iowa United Nations. And so it's just a group of people who are really passionate about the work and trying to educate people. And then there's United Nations Women, which is through that one is all virtual because they're across the country, and we just meet on a regular basis, to discuss issues around women, how do we support each other. And it's again, some days are really tough. um, you just watch the news and it's heartbreaking, and then you go to one of these meetings or you're around these people who are in the same arena, and it just gives you so much hope. I just love that.
Well, you are, they are very fortunate to have you, but I'm sure
Mhm.
you feel like vice versa. You are
Oh yeah,
fortunate to have them as well.
definitely.
That is just so, so cool. And that's all volunteer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you took 10 days of your own time to go to New York City and
yeah.
be a voice for us
Hmm.
locally and globally. And that is like rock star. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was
Yeah, and, so what I hear is that women aren't only being going down the totem pole again here, but maybe globally as well, which
Yeah.
absolutely sucks,
It
because
it truly does. It truly does. It's in the civil rights world, we kind of talk about the pendulum a little bit, how like it goes over here and it's very more supportive of civil rights and understanding that, we're humans. And then there's people kind of start wanting to claw back power and claw back,
Mhm.
um, you know, the status quo. And so legislation comes into play. And so it starts to scrap some of those steps we've made forward. And so it's like two steps forward, one step back.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one step forward, two steps back. But you have to keep driving.
Yeah, absolutely, and isn't it amazing that women, they are really the glue that holds it together.
I I completely agree. I might be a little bit biased because I do have two daughters, but I also just, looking at studies like evidence-based studies, communities do better if you I can cite the sources. That's what I do. I was an investigator for years. But communities do better when women are protected and are in power as well.
Mhm.
So,
Period. That's
period.
that's
I
all
don't
we
need
need
to
to say.
say. I mean, the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, I just wanted to touch on that because that's
Yeah.
such a huge commitment, and, like, the experience alone, I'm sure, was just going to stay in your heart and your mind for many, many years to come, so
Oh,
it's
definitely.
just so cool.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the
Yeah.
spark movement, and, let's talk about kind of like what happened to create a spark in you to make this movement.
Sure. Oh golly, like I said, it was, I keep hearing from women, so often we're measured by our what we achieve. We're measured by our outputs. We're measured by what we can provide for other people. We're measured by our functions, rather than just being seen for our full humanity, and being loved for our existence. And I just kept hearing from women just feeling I'm being told what to say, what to do, what to believe, how to act, how to dress, how to be a mom, how to be a worker. There's so many societal expectation. You know, I do this too. I want to be everything to everyone all the time.
Right.
It's not possible. It's not. And so we feel like we're falling behind. We feel like we're failing. We're disappointing people. And they're not failing. You're just carrying more than it's possible for one human to possibly sustain. And so, living under those expectations, truly, I want women to see them as wonderfully, as strong, as powerful, as beautiful as they are. And to know they're more than what they give, they're more than what society gives us, tells us to do. You know, we talk about, um, worthiness and earning, the fear of not being worthy, but golly, just by your mere existence, you're worthy.
Mhm.
And so that is really the heart of my work. It's for those folks who, I mean, we're still functioning. You're still carrying responsibilities. You're still getting through the day. But then it's starting to get a point where it's just not, it's just not sustainable. There's a difference
Mhm.
between being competent and being well. You
Mhm.
know, I started to notice that in my own work when I was at the Civil Rights Commission, where
Mhm.
it it's a very intense job, and I loved it. But there was no blurring. There was just a blur of between Stephanie Civil Rights and Stephanie me, and so trying to
And one was probably getting more than the other, and it
yes,
was the civil rights. And
yes,
so you're, like, struggling to try to find your existence in that world, but separate it. I get it. I totally get
yes. I can imagine as a realtor, anywhere you go,
it.
I mean, there's no escaping that identity.
No,
You
no,
know?
I enjoy it,
Yes,
but there are some days where it's like, "Oh my god, could this, like, slow down and, like, let's just be,
yes,
not pedal to the metal," but then
right.
it'll be quiet and I'm like, "Oh my god, what's wrong?"
I know. I know. Where's the chaos? Where's my
I
chaos?
know. I am definitely better. I say I'm better busy. I don't know if that's true, but when I
Mhm.
have a fuller plate, I feel like I have my mind works better.
Yeah.
When there's nothing on the calendar, I will do nothing. And that's
Yeah.
not good because there's plenty I could do around the house, in
Yes.
my life, even just go for a walk, but I will do nothing. I will
Mhm.
couch rot on those days
Oh,
and be
yeah.
like, but also I know we need that
We
too.
do. I read a quote not too long ago where it said, "Rest is resistance." And I was like, "Okay, fine. I guess I will rest once in a while." I mean, because it's hard though, because you constantly see something you can be doing, but
Mhm.
just because you can doesn't mean you should. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm trying to learn myself. I say this out loud to anybody as well as to myself, because I try, I many years I did measure myself on, okay, I got this award, I got this title, I got this degree, and I'm 52 years old now, and I'm like, I don't need to prove my value
Mm-mm.
anymore. I
Nope.
never did have to, but I felt like I did. And I just want people to learn that at a younger age too. And
Yeah.
if not,
Yes,
learn it.
and that's what I was just thinking, I don't know if you remember, but, like, when Oprah was turning 40 and then it was
Mm,
50, and she was just trying to rebrand that, 40's
mhm.
the new what and 50's the new this, and it was
Yeah,
like and when you're young, you're like, "Well, duh," like, blah, 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 but then you get here and you're
right.
like, "I finally get it." And
Yes.
what
Yes.
a freeing experience it is to get there, but
Right.
also like, "God, I wish I would have known this when I was, a younger person." But that
Mhm.
confidence comes with age to
Yeah.
then make you have the freedom. So if you don't, if you're lacking the confidence or whatever, which fake it till you make it, whatever. That's how
Yeah.
most of us, you know, live
That's
our lives.
yeah. Yeah.
But it's just once you get here, it's so freeing. But
It is.
also, it's still chaotic. It's not quiet.
Oh, it is. It is. And I don't know if you know this, Anne, I was a late diagnosis of ADHD. And
Me too.
I I didn't know. I mean, I've been talking about it. They're like, oh no, it's anxiety or it's this. I'm like, well, are you sure about that? So finally, when I turned 50, I was like, you know what? You need to test me. And so, yes, I have ADHD. And so that helped so much just knowing it helped me understand things.
Mhm.
And then I also had a little bit of grief of man. And honestly, I was a little pissed because,
Mhm.
I'd been asking for the support for years and working through that. Now it's a couple years out, and it's like now I know what to do with that, and
Yes.
it feels better knowing.
Yeah. I believe I took a test maybe in my 40s and they were like, "Yeah, no, you're not." And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And
Like,
so I self-diagnosed it. Well, that's not true. I have talked to my doctor and we have talked through that, but like this chaos it is what it is.
it
And
is,
so
it is.
once you get that permission to say, "Yes, I do have a brain that is going a lot,"
Yeah,
you do feel some relief, but also like, "God damn it, why didn't any" but in girls, because
mhm,
we don't present as much as boys did back in the day
right.
or probably even now, we I talked too much in school.
Yeah.
I was funny.
Yep,
I still to this day miss words when I'm writing too fast, I'll miss words because
yep,
in my brain and then
yeah,
I'll read it back. I'll read it back 10 times and then my husband will be like, "Oh, you missed if or the."
yeah. Like, oh, there's the word "the." I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah,
And
like
it's
everyone knows.
it's just wild though, because like I could lead an organization, I could teach graduate courses, I started to help start a nonprofit. But if you wanted me to like tell you where my car keys were, I mean, I know that's such a silly example, but truly, if you want me to tell you that, it wasn't going to happen. Or if you
Right.
want to actually like leave my house at one shot without forgetting something, never.
Right.
to do anything like that. And so that contradiction was so confusing to
Right.
think,
And absolutely. And note to all of our partners, it's not cute or funny when when you rib us about it because it
yeah,
is actually something that really bothers us. I've
yes,
told my husband this many times, like, don't make fun of me
right,
because I'm not doing it because I want to be made fun of. I really don't know where I put my keys.
yeah,
Hence why I have a purse strap for my phone because
yeah,
before then I would always lose it.
right, right. I mean, it's amazing the things that we do to, mechanize our lives to be able to, cope with it. A
Yeah.
lot of things like you and I at our age, we figured it out on our own because we didn't have those supports, which luckily is getting better over the years. But
Yeah.
but yeah, or people will say, "Oh, everybody's a little ADHD." I'm like, "Well, no, not really. It's
Right.
actually like a brain divergence. It functions differently."
Absolutely. But I also kind of agree with the fact that we are getting media and snips and reels and this and that. And it's fine. It's like seconds. We're getting this
Yeah.
stimulation. And so we all could maybe be a little
Yeah,
ADHD
I
because of
know.
how our brains are being trained with
Yeah.
social media and news and all of that. Like, I would love to sit down and read a book. If I sit down and I get in and I'm like, this is it, I will fall asleep.
Oh, no. No, I can read. There's people don't understand the other side of ADHD too, is the hyperfocus side, where I can literally lose hours. There was one night, and my fiance Kevin knows this about me, where I was literally on my computer from 5 p.m. until 5 a.m. I didn't realize I was on my computer working from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. until he came in and he said, "Are you coming to bed?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be right there." He goes, "It's 5 a.m." I was like, I literally did not move for 12 hours, Anne. I mean, how? You just get so focused, and our brains are just fascinating. So,
They are, they absolutely are. I was just reminded, maybe it was on Snapchat, some of these memories you don't post, but you save, so then they come up.
mhm,
And I saw a TikTok where there was a sale on a new laptop, and this must have been 2 summers ago. Not on a new one, but on one at Target that was going to be like $0, literally. So I went to the South, I went to the North, I went down to Corval. I was like getting this deal laptop. I
yes,
didn't end up getting it and just spent a lot of time hyper focusing on something.
I know, I know.
It's
It
crazy.
it
It's
is.
crazy.
It's
Well,
really
let's talk more about how to take that chaos and
yeah,
incorporate it into
mhm,
our daily lives so it
yeah.
doesn't feel like we're spiraling out of control.
Definitely. It's interesting because while I do have that, I also teach mindfulness and meditation,
Yes.
and yoga. And so it took me a while to get my mind settled. That's why you call it a meditation practice. It's never perfect. It's
Okay.
not just an emptying of your brain.
Right.
And so I do incorporate that into my work with folks as well. I do, classes, but I'm also teaching classes around boundaries. How do we have
Right.
boundaries and what do we do with that? And most recently, this is kind of a newer thing that kind of came to me was many of the women that I've been talking with, they're like, my whole life just feels like it's out of control from my house to my mind to everything. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, what's one concrete action we can do? Well, one concrete action we can do right now to make you feel better is let's organize your kitchen. And so we do that. And
Okay.
it's amazing how much that just can shift. And so it's kind of a two-pronged thing where we focus on, you know, the internal, but then a lot of times our overwhelm becomes visible in our environment. And then that starts to create more stress and more shame and more decision fatigue and the
Mhm.
clutter and, just that visual noise.
I can
Hard.
attest to
Yeah,
our environment being a lot.
yeah,
My bedroom slash bathroom, which my husband uses the bed, but that's all he gets. Ah, The rest of it is mine, and it's completely chaotic, and I
Yeah,
and I, and I know, and I see it, and I want to do it, and then I go, "It is too much,"
yeah,
and then I walk away, and that happens.
right.
It's a vicious circle,
It truly
day
is.
in, day out,
It is, and that's
and, was joking last week with some of my friends. I go, "You may wanna do a welfare check on Jeff just to make sure he didn't fall in my mound of clothes."
he does still exist. He is there somewhere. But I think part of it is, we always hear these cookie cutter things of just buy another basket and just put everything in baskets. Well, if you have, a certain mindset, if you have ADHD or some neurodivergence, out of sight, out of mind is a thing. I will forget it if I don't have it. So we do different things. It's not meant to be a cookie cutter thing. It's not, you don't always need just a pretty little container. We just need
Mm-mm.
your decisions and something that works when you're tired on a Tuesday afternoon.
Mhm.
Just not when you're in like, okay, let's go. I got my energy. It's when you're like, man, today was a shit show. I just need to figure out what to do. And so simplifying, kind of slowing down the mind and then providing a physical space. So it's a combination of the two is what I really help folks with. Um, and if they only want one or the other, that's fine as well. I'm not going to say, no, I must come organize your house.
Right.
That's be kind of creepy. But the I think one of the biggest things I do try to offer is I just want women to be heard.
Yeah.
And I want them to know they don't have to always perform and they're human and the world needs them as a whole human, not just who they think they should be. And I just want them to feel that. I know it's
Yes.
okay, but I just want women to feel how wonderful that they are.
And you have that gift.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
so lovely for you to share it with our community and with women. And I do feel my demographic is typically my age, 40 to 50 age range, because I feel like I do try to find topics that are not only helpful to me, because really this is like I get to have conversations with my friends, but then,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully someone takes something from each of them, and whether it's being a good neighbor or what does a good neighbor mean, or
Right.
there's no, like, perfect answer for any of it,
Yeah.
and so, this is just my version of what good neighbors are, There's many other versions of that, and, so I just love that you are sharing that gift and,
Mhm.
helping us through this time, because as my menno p I just said the other day, my menno be pausing right now,
Oh,
okay? It is
yep. Yep.
pausing, and
Yes.
hot flashes and the brain and all of that,
Yes.
and I know there have been resources out there for years, but,
Mhm.
like, you don't again, with anyone, you don't really wanna find out more until it affects you,
Right.
personally.
Right.
So, I'm just like I feel like my aunts, my mom, my grandma, no one talked about this.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, just having conversations and shouting out the craziness, but also, like, teaching others how
Yeah.
to treat us, during
Right.
these times as well.
Yeah.
Like, we need to coach people, we need to tell them,
Right.
"I hear you, I see you, I would love to do that, but at this time, this is how it goes."
Most definitely. And I'm in that same stage as you. I had surgically induced menopause. So I had to have a hysterectomy, and so the whole thing. I mean, it's unless you're here living in it, it's hard to explain, and it's hard to explain it to loved ones who don't experience it. And so I think the more open we are about menopause, about mental health, about asking for help, asking for vulnerability, or being more vulnerable, the better society becomes. And
And
we
then
can,
also, yeah, those are also boundaries that we're setting.
yes,
Without saying the word boundary, we're saying,
right,
honey, I get it. You think it's hilarious. It's not funny,
right,
or how
right.
about you help me
Yes,
instead
yes,
of poking fun at me because maybe I need you to text me 3 times in a day to
yes,
remind me that you told me something this morning.
right.
I, that's just what I need.
Yes. I mean, I'll be in my car in the garage and I'll be thinking, as soon as I get into the house, I need to do this. I walk into the house and it's gone. And
Yes.
so, I have other things I do to help me remember, other post-it notes, things on my phone, all these other things. But it's just a different way of functioning. And then it's interesting, they've done some interesting studies around ADHD and the menopause aging, how when we're in that age, the symptoms increase, which isn't
Yeah.
surprising. Your hormones are out of whack. And so it's like, oh, okay. No wonder everything seems more challenging right now.
Mhm. And you can take it personally, but again, if we are just with our safest people at least, like, and maybe not, maybe you just tell everyone you wear a freaking name tag that says handle with care. I'm fragile right now. Who
Right.
cares? But with your sphere of safety, like just letting them know that you can help or you can laugh.
Right. And I think that's one thing I try to offer too within either, in the classrooms that I offer or in the one-on-one conversations that I have with folks. It's just grounded in non-judgmental. I don't, people are always uncomfortable. They're like, I don't really want you to see my house. And I'm
Right.
like, I don't judge. I mean, I know that sounds cliche, but I truly just don't. I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know how much of my background and with not a lot of money. And I learned to be very resilient and resourceful. And
Mhm.
I saw a lot of things that were challenging growing up. And so I've always had a just social justice heart, but it's just strengthened it over the years. And just meeting people with compassion and curiosity is the only way, in my opinion, we should live.
Mhm. Yeah.
Everybody deserves, even if I know going into a conversation we might not agree, that's okay. We can still
Yeah.
have a conversation. And
Yes.
so I try to offer that space for them to be focused on their experiences, their patterns, their choices, their needs. Is it overwhelm? Is it decision making? Transitions?
Yes.
And what is the goal? Is it a practical next step, or is it continued conversations? It's
Mhm.
very, very tailored to whatever the person needs.
Mhm. And it sounds like yours is more of like actionable items that
Yeah.
you will be able to guide and coach and so that
Yes.
they can do those rather
Yeah.
than just therapy where you just sit
Yeah.
and talk and then you kind of
Right.
feel like, "Oh, like better for a second," and then you have to wait another week or 2 weeks before you can
Right.
get back in, and so all that work you did in an hour is gone.
Right.
So it sounds like you are really creating a space for women to be vulnerable, and
Mhm.
I'm sure is it only for women or
It's not only for women. I
Yeah,
mean, that tends to be who I've worked with the most. Women are gender expansive folks. I'm not, whoever the client would want to work with me.
right.
It just tends to, I think, probably just because of my background and people who know me, word of
Mm,
mouth too. It just tends to skew. And then honestly, I really enjoy working with women and, non-binary and gender expansive folks. It's
mhm,
the marginalized people, the overwhelmed people, the ones who are further removed from power are the ones that I really enjoy being around and supporting.
mm.
And I want the focus to be on them, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I love that so much, Stephanie. So tell us what classes you have coming up with the Spark movement and how we can find you to learn about classes because I do know you have a newsletter as well or
I
like an
do.
email.
I
Yeah.
do. So I have a couple of classes coming up. One is August 11th at the Swisher Library, actually. It's about boundaries. How do we set healthy boundaries? Because I don't know about you, but that was a struggle for me. My family used to joke they're like, "Did you say no?" I'm like, just the other day, I texted my fiance. I said no today about something. He's like, "I am
Yeah.
so proud of you." And it
Yeah.
so simple, but there's so much guilt that can go with that. So that's August.
People pleasing, people
Yes.
pleasers. So I get it.
Yes.
I absolutely get it.
Oh my gosh. And then September 15th at 6:30 is a Zoom, a virtual one about basically the exhaustion underneath competence, recognizing that, but then practical steps of what to do when you're having those really rough days.
Yeah.
When you're trying to be superwoman, but we're not.
Right.
We're not. We, as much as we want to be, it's not humanly possible. And then in November, I'm doing a course around some resiliency at the West Branch Library. I have some other ones. I'm talking to some other libraries and organizations and yoga
Yeah.
studios about that. But folks can also go to my website. It's just spark, SPARK dash movement.com.
Okay.
And you'll see that's how you can connect with me, learn about, how we can do hands-on organizing as well as the mindset support. Sometimes people just want you to sit with them.
Mhm.
They're like, I don't need to do anything. I just need you to sit with me and be a body double. So what it is, whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I'm also on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, and all that good jazz.
Yes, 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 yes. So we'll share your website, your Facebook,
Yeah.
and all of those dates.
Thank
And
you.
just I feel like we're so lucky that we have you here because you could be in Kansas City or somewhere else on the planet and we get you here. So that is amazing, and, please don't ever leave. I know it's
Oh,
staying in Iowa sometimes is a little challenging if you really think about it,
I know. I know it.
yeah, but we need good people here, and that's why I'm building this neighborhood one story at a time so that we have a great community, and we know there are people that have the same or similar thoughts, feelings, and let's just spread good news. Good news needs to go viral instead of all the
Absolutely.
dark, dreary stuff that we hear.
And there are
So,
so many good humans here, Anne. I mean, you know
mm,
this. I'm just
mhm.
amazed every single day at the beauty of people.
Yeah,
Just fascinating.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we are very lucky to live in a great community where people are there's so much. I feel like this is a great time to be a creator, a teacher, a giver of what I feel like there's so many people doing such cool things in and
Really.
around, even Eastern Iowa, and it's like
Absolutely.
it's a special time, but you have to get through all the bullshit before.
Absolutely, yes. And we gotta be here for each other. That's
Absolutely, yes, yes, yes. Well,
Oh,
I just appreciate you so much, and, for all of you, it's
mhm.
spark-movement.com, correct?
That's correct. Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me, and to all of my neighbors out there, don't forget to like, follow, share, all the things. I need comments. My algo needs rhythm, okay? I need I need some love so that we can share good news with more people and more neighbors, and we will be back next week. Thanks. Have a great, great week.